Hello, I am going live because we had some amazing breakthroughs today on the money activation. And I realized that people need to hear more of this. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and what led me to create predictable quantum leaps in income without working harder, without struggling, without burning out, and without having to do more. My name is Melissa, and I'm the abundance coach for people who want to follow their life's purpose and get paid abundantly to do what they love the most. And if you're anything like me, you've been working really hard to put your stuff out there. You've been working, doing the inner work and the journaling and the manifestations, right? And hey, Patricia, thanks so much for hopping on. Good to see you. So if you've been working, to do that inner work, to prime yourself to be at a next level of success, but it feels like the bigger manifestations are either always out of reach or you can't seem to hit your income goals consistently, it's likely because you have some of these predictable subconscious thermostat things going on. And on some level, your nervous system doesn't feel energetically safe to receive in overflow. So the goal for today is to help you to understand what those hidden inner shifts are and how easily you can tweak your mindset, your energetics, your vibration, right, and your nervous system to hold more. And for you to understand that your financial freedom has nothing to do with how much you earn. It has everything to do with how safe your body feels receiving more and how easily you can normalize having more consistently without it being this like far out thing that you need to chase or this sort of dream, right, that feels further out in the future. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about the exact shifts that I use to create consistent overflow, leave my 9 to 5, doing something I love without compromising my income, clear off over $42,000 in debt in like less than 2 years, heal my credit score by over 2,000 points. That's a bit much. 200 points. I get so excited sometimes. And to say yes to a life where the universe consistently stretches to meet me exactly where I'm at. Now, I remember learning about manifestation, and I also remember having these doubts around how much I could receive. When I was looking at these mentors, right, people were coming on and they were teaching us these amazing manifestation stories, and it felt like on some level I could manifest these good windfalls. I could manifest like $100 here and there. I could manifest some pretty cool miracles, some amazing deals and savings, but I couldn't actually manifest the life of my dreams or the dream home or the things that I really wanted to say yes to. And I was getting so frustrated because I was doing all this inner work, right? All the shadow work, all the deep healing. I was doing all the reading on the personal development and stuff, but I was still lying awake at night feeling like my dream was out there in a future and I didn't have what it takes to actually choose that in the present moment. I also remember quitting my 9 to 5 many years ago when I was first at a offshore law firm in Bermuda. And this was my first chance at entrepreneurship. But what I realized when I left a predictable 9 to 5 to actually be self-employed was that I had a lot of money stories and abundance blocks that I actually needed to clear up in order to sustain and to hold self-employment without feeling like I was constantly in scarcity, without feeling like I was like a nervous system wreck, or without the really, really big high highs and low lows that makes family living stressful. I always thought that having more money would just fix everything, right? I just needed to hit this next income goal, bring in this, this next client, or manifest this thing until I could finally feel safe. But no matter how much came in, stress stayed. And for some reason, the vibration that I was giving off and the karmic cycles I was in and the like family line scarcity program that I was in made me manifest more of the same things over and over again, just with different amounts, right? Just with different incomes. So even though I got a bonus, even though I had really good income on paper, it felt like I always had money running out. And it also felt like there was never actually enough to not only get ahead, but to like pour into the things like the home renos or the beautiful dream backyard or the luxury trips that I really wanted to. That felt like it was beyond my capacity at some level. And what I realized through actually a lot of really difficult and painful mistakes was I wasn't just sabotaging myself, I was protecting myself. And that unless I could start normalizing having more, it would always seem to be this carrot and the stick, right, dangling just in front of me, just out of reach, because it wasn't normalized yet. It felt like it was above me. It's the same way people might come to you, right, and they're talking about like a new lover or paramour, and they're putting this person on a pedestal, right, seeing this person as higher than themselves, more worthy, more deserving, or better. they're unconsciously projecting their own unworthiness to this thing. So of course it feels out of reach. So the moment I said yes to nurturing and creating the inner rewirings, right? So almost imagining it as if you were like Googling for a search result in your life, right? So if you're Googling, hey, how to have more abundance, how to have financial freedom, how to create the life or the legacy that I want, or to even pursue my calling, right? Or make my side hustle my main hustle, we need to first wire ourselves for that to be our energetic normal, right? That new normal. And I hate that saying, but that's when the universe starts to move mountains. And that's when we start to see the outer shifts catch up, because we're now walking our talk, acting and embodying that version of us. And that's where people also start to see you differently, right? So clients that have previously maybe ghosted you, right, or gave you the cold shoulder, they come back into your reality. People that you wanted to work with that weren't a match at that time end up asking you like, hey, what is your secret? You're looking really good. All this stuff is popping off. What are you doing? And it's because you're sort of SEO optimizing yourself, right? Or creating your own Google search results within, to finally allow yourself to catch up on the outer reality that matches what you want the most. So there's 3 false beliefs that I want to share with you, and these are likely some of the biggest things that you need to know about. False belief number 1 is I need more money to fix things, right? If we just made more, everything would stabilize. But the problem with that is, and this is what we see in lottery winners, in celebrities, right, in people that have these like public scandals, is when you're not primed to operate at that level, the fear, the guilt, the unworthiness, the pressure, right, feeling like you have to like give your money away, is still going to create really expensive mistakes, or unconsciously you might sabotage it because you're not wired to hold this, normalized it, and see this as your everyday reality. So this is why people win the lottery, right, and then lose everything. This is why people in the public eye, right, create these scandals and these affairs, and they go bankrupt so fast because they receive these big lump sums. And because they can't actually manage it, hold it, and their nervous system doesn't feel safe with this level of wealth around them, they find crazy things to pay it on. They indulge, right? They create addictions and all of these unwanted things. So the truth is, money doesn't necessarily fix things, but all of these same loops, these feast and famine things, can happen at the highest levels, right? We see this all the time in clients that I work with, for example, real estate agents. They the number one thing they need is that creatable cushion, so that in between deals closing, in between deals coming through, there's always some level of certainty that they can rely on. Now, if you were to get a top 1% listing, but you're still running family line programming of feast and famine, which, by the way, can be traced back to ancestral timelines of like farming, right, where crops were rich and abundant in one season, and then there's like the drought, or there is the frost that makes it really hard to get by. If you're still holding that on an epigenetic, on a subconscious level, even a top 1% listing or huge windfall isn't going to like fix you for the rest of your life. You're just going to end up running out and then creating more of the same high highs and low lows, because our subconscious isn't wired for what we want. Our subconscious is wired for certainty and predictability, and it recreates more of what is familiar, even if you don't consciously want it. Now, the other thing that I see people say is manifestation isn't working for me at a bigger level. And this was one of the things that I struggled with the most too, right? I could consistently manifest like freebies and discounts and like cool little things here and there, but I never actually, had success manifesting the things I really wanted. And when I was seeing people say yes to go on these like international spiritual retreats, right, or to jump into a dream home, or to upgrade their car, I almost felt like there was some level of me that either was blocked or that just couldn't manifest as them. So I had this sort of inherent belief that it was just because people like me, just because I'm not meant for this or that much in this lifetime, when really it was just my body contracting at the idea that overflow could be accessible, and that it's not something out that is separate from self. So one of the things that I would say is, if you're struggling with manifestations at a bigger level, is you energetically need to imagine bringing those things in and allowing your subconscious mind to create a sort of normalization as if it has already happened, but also to feel safe holding it without letting it go, or we unconsciously might resist or reject or sabotage or even offload these things. to again come back to our inner thermostat, which has previously been dialed into a lower setting. The manifestations at bigger levels also come true when we start putting in overarching beliefs that no matter how I am feeling, whether I'm feeling happy and abundant and inspired, or I'm sick, or I'm exhausted, or I'm grumpy, that I don't necessarily need to be high vibe um, in order to like be worthy of it or to call it in. And a lot of the times, especially in the spiritual and self-help books, we've been taught this lie that we have to get it just right, right? And I see these clients and they come to me and they're saying, I'm doing all the rituals and I set it my alarm for 5 a.m. and I'm journaling and I'm doing it exactly how my mentor taught me. But when I ask them if they actually enjoy it, they say, oh no, like it's dreadful. It feels like homework. So how can we manifest from a state of feeling good, tapping into our vibration, playing through energy, right? If we are dreading the very like homework the same way we dread chores, this makes it like a checkbox that we need to tick. And the moment that you can actually start giving yourself permission to manifest on your terms and to stop trying to copy and paste the way you've been taught from the like latest self-help guru or from your mentor, the more time that you'll have anchoring into the vibrations and the manifestation like exercises that feel really true to your nature. For me, I love to manifest on the go. I don't love to sit here and do like 2 hour, rituals. For some people, they might love that, but I live a pretty, rich life and I don't want to necessarily spend 2 hours a day trying to get all these card pulls just right in order to feel worthy. So everywhere you're holding overarching beliefs that say that you're not worthy, deserving unless you get it just right, you check all the boxes, you work harder, these are going to block and limit what you can manifest on the higher levels as well. Now, other things that people have said to me that really limit what they can experience is they come to me and they say, you know what, this is all great. Like, I love this manifestation work and I see the work you're doing, but I'm not ready to manifest that kind of money right now. And that's okay. Like the first of all, the illusion is not having to be ready or to want the same things. One person's idea of financial freedom might be a tiny home where they don't have to maintain very much, right? It doesn't take like 10,000 workers to help them to maintain it. Another person's idea of financial freedom might actually just be living off the land, right? Another person's idea of financial freedom might be having like staff, nannies, cooks, cleaners, like all of the support so that you don't have to lift a finger and the whole thing, runs for you. But your ideas of the next level of income are not dependent on you matching mine or anybody else's that you're learning from. So inside this program, it's designed to work with you no matter where you're at in income and to activate you no matter how far or how long you want to go. So whether you are making jumps to say replace your 9 to 5, or you just want to bring in some extra cash over the holidays and to start getting ahead on debt repayment, or to even manifest like your first, higher paying clients, all of those are right. This isn't a copy and paste strategy for you to live my life or to live another person's life, or you to hold things that don't actually feel true to you. Because the truth about financial freedom, and this is something my partner shared with me through the Psychology of Money book, is that we play into these money games, but we need to know what our end game is. So if we're accepting help from a financial advisor, a guru, a manifestation coach, a business coach, we need to understand that their perspective of what we should do is based on what their ideals of financial freedom or that desired outcome or success, money, and abundance is. So unless you're playing the game based on what you actually want, it's going to create different results. It's going to create friction because you don't actually want the thing. So inside this is going to allow you to activate everything that you've been wanting to say yes to unapologetically, as bold as you want, as big or as little, as long as you're willing to stretch and to say yes to your next level of desires and allow the universe to kind of come to your rescue and meet you for once so that you can start living a bit more and so that you can allow yourself to express yourself by saying yes to the trips or the furniture or the renos or the time off or the time with kids in a way that really fills your cup. Because everything that we're craving under this idea for more money, this next level of success, this idea or promotion is not actually about the number or the figure in your account. It's about who you become, and it's about how you feel on a consistent day-to-day basis once that level is unlocked. So for me, the biggest thing that helped slingshot me into like 20K months was understanding what was underneath. And it wasn't about the day I arrived and I saw it in my account where I was like, wow, great, when I tracked it down, I sat with the idea and I was like, okay, what does 20K a month mean to me? And why do I want that? And I went like 6 levels deep. This is something that I learned from Caitlin, working with her, where underneath you get clearer and clearer about what that actually does for you and your family. And what I realized when I kept saying, okay, why do I want that? Okay, but why? Why that? It was actually this deep sense of play and lightheartedness, knowing I was getting way ahead on my financial goals, with then some to put here and then some to save for retirement, then some to pay the bills, and having this like playful childlike wonder activated, because I could do whatever I wanted with my time, knowing that I was getting ahead, knowing that the universe was providing, and knowing that allowing myself to say yes to freedom, to say yes to travel, time with family, time off, or to spend an afternoon doing what I want, didn't actually compromise my financial goals. So all of the boxes were being ticked, and I could actually just spend more time in my happy place. So no, it wasn't about wanting to become the biggest business owner. It was actually around wanting more play and joy and freedom to choose what I wanted to. So what I would say is, wherever you're at in your manifestation story, is what is the thing you think you want, and what do you actually want underneath? Because it's the thing underneath that is going to activate that higher level frequency, that's going to make you magnetic, and is going to make that that outcome or that success at that level inevitable, because you're no longer choosing just an empty number. You're choosing a way of being and a new level of your lifestyle that gets activated through becoming that. Now, the financial freedom activation is a sacred money healing and manifestation experience that I've used to create Overflow and to make it really safe, certain, and sustainable. The number one thing that I've seen, time and time again as I've gone to like level up, is that there were these new level, new devil thresholds, right? And each of them kind of came with a predictable test, right? So what did I have to leave behind? Maybe saying yes to like clients I didn't want to work with. Maybe it said had to leave behind, certain boundaries, over giving, under receiving. And then there was also this weird test of the universe where it threw me a curveball, something I either didn't want or was not expecting to receive, right? Like a car repair expense or some random crazy crisis. But at the threshold of each of these tests was an opportunity to upgrade and to make a choice based on the future version of me, rather than the version of me that had been stuck in the same patterns and cycles. And when I started to track this intuitively and energetically, I realized that at each income level, whether you're manifesting from 0 to 5K, going from 5 to 10K, 10 to 20K, 20 to 50K plus, each of them has predictable thresholds, like an invisible test that you need to pass. And each of them also requires you to let go of certain programming, again, like feast and famine, robbing Peter to pay Paul, making one step forward and 2 steps back, that prevent you from being in alignment with the version of you and with the timeline where you're moving differently, the results are showing up differently, people are saying yes to work with you, or giving you raises and promotions, because you have already shifted to a new self-concept and a new parallel reality where it all exists without having to work harder or to invest years in climbing the ladder, right, kissing ass, or doing things the slow way. This has been some of the deepest work, but the gift through all of this is that we have an accelerated opportunity to really go through this at a predictable threshold. And I'm just going to pause this real quick because my daughter's just coming home. Can I? Hi, come on in. Brookie. Brooklyn, come on in. How's it going? I'm just on live. I'm going to finish up in a second, okay? All right, where were we? It's hashtag mom life. So what I've realized in this work is that the fastest way to clear these manifestation, these income, and these success blocks is to rewrite your reality and to reverse engineer everywhere you're blocked. So anytime I'm manifesting something, I periodically tap in and I will say, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, like how aligned am I on this thing? And if I'm like a 6.7, I'll ask and track into my subconscious saying, okay, what's directly in the way of me having this thing or being this thing or being a match to this thing? And it's usually programming, it's usually subconscious beliefs, it's usually trapped emotions, or something that like a false illusion, right? Or a lie that I've bought into, especially on the collective level. Now, the way we can do this faster than we have been taught before is to constantly work with our manifestations through 25 predictable types of abundance blocks. This is some of the framework that I've learned through working with Christy Marie Sheldon from Mind Valley on her Unlimited Abundance program. It's that humanity and our history, right, and our ancestors have gone through different cycles and loops in time. As well as different types of like history, right? Wars, famine, slavery, all of these things where there's been things that have conditioned us to live in a certain way. And through the ages of 0 to 7, we're also in a subhypnotic state, right? Where we're perceiving everything through the lens of conditioning and understanding that our parents or the people we've grown up with might have certain money beliefs that either are outdated or they're not helpful, or they can limit what we can create and receive in this like fast, instant creator economy, or this like wealth exchange economy, where wealth is through, like it's coming through information, right? It's coming through wisdom. It's coming through leveling up in those aspects rather than working harder or pushing through or being some sort of like slave to your business, right? Because financial freedom also understands that the energetics of freedom give you unlimited choice to say yes to things without being tied to a desk, without being chained to something you don't want to be in, or without feeling like you need to sacrifice your happiness and fulfillment just to get the paycheck that you know pays the bills. This is the time where we get to have both if we're willing to allow ourselves to go for it. And I've created a very intentional curriculum on this, which I'd love to share, that will help you go through 10 power calls, which are specifically designed to reverse engineer all of the predictable ways that people typically fall off, all of the predictable ways that you've been set up to fail. I'm going to share a little bit about the program here. Hopefully you can see that. So this is the 6-month subconscious money healing and manifestation experience to make you feel safe receiving, provided for, and on track for the dream life you deserve. I've specifically tailored this to fill the gaps where other manifestation or self-help programs have failed. For people who, you know, they want more, they know they're meant for more, they know they have this calling that they want to pursue, but they wonder if their dreams are ever going to happen for them because they're still caught either in survival mode or just catching up with getting by. So again, this is going to be the fastest way for us to let go of unfulfilling 9 to 5 jobs, small manifestation wins, and really getting ahead rather than just getting by. So if you've been living your life for years and years and you're just living paycheck to paycheck, even though you have a pretty good income, or you've hit a certain level of success in your business, but you know you want to make a bigger impact, and you actually also want to have the resources to like live a life on your terms, to say yes to things, and to decorate your home the way you want, this is exactly what's for you. Okay. A couple of the things that I've noticed with the clients that I've worked with inside this in my deep one-on-one work is that we sometimes have this programming that we can only say yes to stuff when we have the money arrive or when we hit that next level of success. Like I used to have this big subconscious belief that I couldn't say yes to my dreams, my desires, the travel, the retreats, or the things I wanted to unless I hit this thing first. And the myth and the false reality around this is that we are conditioned as employees to think based on a fixed pot mindset, meaning that money will inevitably run out, right? And unless you have that money already in the bank, that you can't actually invest or put things in the things you want because it will have less to go around at the end of the day. What we've done in this program, and let me just go down a little bit further, is to reverse engineer everything that you need in order for you to start saying yes, for the universe to show up to provide it for you, but also in a way that guarantees your investment in the program. So for the first time ever, I've put a very bold promise and a very bold guarantee that you will manifest at least more than you paid to get in, meaning you can only win or you get a no questions asked refund. The only thing is you need to show up obviously to the calls because you know your success depends on you, but there's no questions asked after that. So you will manifest more than you get in. And by that, you're also going to allow yourself to enter this gateway of expansion because you know that this investment is going to create opportunities to say yes to other things. So inside here, we've tapped off modalities and specific built-in safety tools that make your success inevitable by stopping your self-sabotage at the root cause to understand like why you did it in the first place, what part of you doesn't feel safe, and to work with those subconscious aspects of self to actually be on board and to give them a job to work for you rather than against you. Anytime there are resistance or blocks at this next level, we go in and we alchemize and transmute the part of you that is like so close to a breakthrough, but like pulls back or just scatters their efforts or even gets derailed right before their next level. We're going to anchor in the end game of your vision. So mapping your desires and reverse engineering a foolproof manifestation plan, which is sabotage proof to get every single thing you want on your vision board, and to heal the deepest financial loops and money patterns. So letting go of the scarcity programming, the poverty consciousness, the glass ceilings and upper limits, any of those inherited like ancestral traumas or deep family blocks that keep you running on lack or that keep you out of receiving more than more than you've been accustomed to, and really getting paid for your worth. There's also an amazing, amazing call for polarity activation. Brooklyn, can you turn that down a bit, please? Thank you. So the men are going to go into a facilitation session to activate their masculine leadership and their provider codes, meaning that they become magnetic and irresistible, providing for the feminine, right? And being able to sustain and hold a legacy for their families, their partners, even if they're still single, but being primed with the excess abundance and that provider and leader instinct to really activate the feminine desires of receiving and being with somebody that's trusted to like lead the way, right? To lead their family into success, and also to be able to lead a company or a team when you are leading a mission. The feminines, the females are going to be with myself. So this is all about activating your soft feminine power, right? Your sexy assertiveness that gets people to do what you want, not in a manipulative way, but in a way that inspires the action you'd love to see, in a way that gets people to treat you really good, in a way that gets people to bend over backwards to treat you so good, and in a way that allows you to finally feel safe receiving, being led, and being provided for, whether you're partnered or not. This is one of our most instinctual desires that is directly linked to our ability to receive abundance, right? And to be consistently provided for. We are also going into, just after New Year's, getting paid more. So whether it is raising your prices and knowing how much to even charge for that next level client, or asking for a raise in a way that is proven to create value, in a way to inspire the yes, because you're doing it in a way that is very, very intentional and diplomatic, using principles from How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is the perfect New Year's thing to use that new financial cycle, right? To increase the rates, increase your income with zero fear, and by also priming yourself ahead of time to feel like it's a no-brainer so that the outer reality matches that as well. Now, the last one we have is life purpose activation. This is all about mapping your secret talents and gifts into either side hustles or freedom path, right? Focusing more on what you want to create fun money, or to also realign your business to what you do the best that lights you up so much that time stands still when you're in it. So whether you are employed, whether you have a full-time business, or whether you have like a side hustle you want to start, this is all about activating your destiny and your unique zone of genius that people like go out of their way to pay you for, because you do it so well and because it lights you up and it gives you such a flow state that it's irresistible. So we'll be meeting on a bi-weekly basis for this program starting tomorrow. And this is the first and only time I'm going to be launching this live. After this, I'm going to have this as a pre-recorded thing. So if you want like deep one-on-one personalized VIP support for your specific blocks, your specific obstacles, or for your specific goals, this is the time to jump in, because after this, it will be a pre-recorded program. I'm going on maternity leave, planning for the future, right? So now is the time to get in if you want this program tailored to your highest level of success and to your dream life, with personalized, deep-rooted support on all the things that have previously taken you out or made it impossible to break through. You're also going to get access to a Telegram drop where I am dropping live clearings, little money missions, real-time activations, and micro shifts. So each day, in like 5 minutes or less, you get one voice note drop that is like a channeled activation to help you shift and sync up to the future you that has it all, and to release any of those scarcity things in a few minutes a day. So you're not spending years having to do further work, but you're actually getting real life upgrades, micro shifts, and quick money-making missions that are so simple and fast to act on a daily basis. Now, the best thing that I have added for this program is it's called the Christmas Miracle Activation. So, Brookie, can you just turn that down a little bit more, please? Thanks, I'm almost done. The Christmas Miracle Activation came to me last year, and I had this inspired thought right before, I think it was right before Black Friday. I always saw that people had these sales, right? And people had the shopping money. And I was so sick of like being the mom that was like trying to put Christmas stuff out, but didn't really do it the way my parents did it. And it didn't really feel like it was like my most adult life self. It kind of still felt like I was stretching or even having like resentments around the money I was spending, because it felt like I was spending on an empty container, not actually because it was generous and abundant, because I had the excess. So I've reverse engineered a plan that last year manifested $6,000 extra cash before Christmas, and got to sponsor 5 families in need, meaning we were able to also pass on Christmas gifts and turkey dinner and treat my family to like the holiday miracle that they deserved. And it finally felt so good over the holidays, because saying yes to Christmas decor, choosing the fun things to like decor my house, taking time off over Christmas, and also spending on the gifts that I really wanted to give felt good for the first time. Not like I had to do it, not like I was trying to do it and then later resenting it. And finally, for the first time, I didn't look at my bank accounts after the holidays like in fear, because I knew it was coming from a place of surplus and overflow. So I'm including this as a really special activation bonus call for you to make this Christmas or this holiday season, no matter what you celebrate, the most financially abundant and lucrative that you ever have, and to also anchor that in for your business through different sales that we'll discuss there. So some of the stuff that we've seen here is from the students that I've worked with. We've had people come in and close their first high ticket clients within 2 weeks of journeying. I've also had a really amazing client release karmic and like past life patterns of holding herself back in her marriage for the sake of her husband, who wasn't growing at the same rate she was. So it was always like she did this thing and then he brought her back down. And it was this constant balance where she couldn't really fully rise and shine because of this unhealthy cycle she was in with her husband. And through this work and through releasing all of that codependency, she was able to step into her power, into her highest level of success in her business. And her husband even got help on his own terms. Because they were no longer entwined, while like relying on her to come down to comfort them. We also had a recent amazing story from Jen, who is a new client of mine. She had a 5-year cycle of sabotaging and taking herself out right before her big breakthrough in business. And what we tracked it down to was this underlying witch wound or past life visibility wound of being reprimanded, punished, murdered, or worse for her gifts. So the way this would show up was that right before a big breakthrough or level up in her business, she would manifest distractions, family drama, fights, emergencies, illness, things to take her off course and to physically like prevent her from following through and reaping the rewards of her next level of business. And as soon as we got down to the root cause of that past life witch wound, we were able to release all of the imprinting that shining boldly or being public with her gifts or with her business would lead to judgment, humiliation, or anything that's not safe. So some of the other experiences that I've seen, this is all just the past year. I've gone from $147 client sessions to 5 to 12K clients in months. This was while working full time. When transitioning to go all in on my business early in May, I was able to manifest 4 months of like a lump sum of salary to save before I made the leap, so that I could do it without tapping into scarcity, and so that I could know that my family was taken care of while I pursued my calling and my dream without compromising my income. So far, just in 2025 alone, I track this, and you will inside the program too, because we have weekly surveys to help you get crystal clear on what you're calling in, and to also track all of the things to help you grow it fast, is over $146,000 in windfalls, gifts, cash, and other value that I've manifested just through this process alone. We've had features in magazines, getting invited to VIP events and concerts. And again, also growing my credit score, not by 2,000 points, because that doesn't exist. What a funny typo. But by over 200 points to an excellent credit score. And this is the kind of energetic and subconscious work that cannot be explained by logical time. Like, yes, I do know certain ways to have credit below a certain threshold, right? And yes, I was approved for these massive credit lines and these credit cards not interest, but like increases without tapping into barely even using them. So all of those things naturally led to it, but it was also through the energetics and stuff where it bypassed the logical or the linear amount of time it would normally take to have these kinds of results in reality and to start harnessing these crazy results in real time in just a few months. I've used this same framework to clear over $42,000 in debt without budgeting or having less. We're down to like our last $10,000 to true financial freedom, meaning like zero pointing all debt, which is insane because I never thought that that would be something that's even a reality for me when I was still that, single mom, broke, right, paying off things or living off my credit card when I needed to pay for stuff on the fly. So again, your subconscious might tell you that, now's not the right time. You should wait for better circumstances. Maybe the cash isn't there. And there's a big and easy way to discern whether it's genuinely not the right program for you, right? Which is when it falls flat, nothing lights you up. But if it gives you a little bit of anxiety, and honestly, if it didn't give you a little bit of fear, I would say there's something wrong or it's not enough change in this program. So I will say, if you're noticing that this is calling you, it's pulling you, but then there's that tiny voice that makes you feel like it's uncertain or unclear, this is a great sign that your subconscious is right at the threshold and the cusp of an excellent quantum leap in your income, right, in your explosive growth and in your next level of success and receivership. And that might feel like witnessing the uncertainty of entering a new path. So I will invite you to allow yourself to lean in and to acknowledge it without letting it take you off course. Some of my biggest quantum leaps this year have afforded me trips where I was flown overseas to speak at different retreats. And just before that happened, when the opportunity landed in my lap, I remember hearing like, oh my God, what if nobody shows up? What if this? What if I fly out 8 hours and I couldn't do it? What if I make a mistake and I fly all the way out there and it wasn't the right thing? And in those moments, I was able to catch myself and to say, oh, wow, there's a part of me that's arguing for all the limitations, why it's not safe to go down this new path because I've never been to this level before. And as soon as I was able to say, hey, thanks so much for your input. Thanks for playing your side of the polarity, but I'm steering the ship, I'm in control. And I led myself to say yes. The flights arrived, the money arrived, the payments arrived, everything landed in my lap within 24 hours. Like within 24 hours, flights, hotels, everything just lined up, paid for itself because I allowed myself to cross the threshold. So if you are at that threshold, now is your invitation to join us. We kick off tomorrow. And for the monthly payment plans, I am giving 7 days free. So if you want to try this with no risk to make sure you love it, sign up, hop on the first call, and you can cancel within the first 7 days to make sure that this is the right container for you, because I truly believe that you need to be equipped with the right coach, the right mentorship, and the right program to give you your next level of success. So my energetic expansion formula, and this is the last thing I'll end with, is when I'm considering an investment, I ask myself 3 intuitive questions. 1, will it create more for me? Right? Will this lead to a future I'm happy with? And if I choose this, will I either regain a part of my soul, like bring a part of my soul home, or develop myself into the person that I know I need to and I'm ready to become? And if the answer is yes to any 3 of those, I make sure to clear and ignore all the reasons why it's not safe and to buckle up and to do it anyway and to allow myself to be surprised as the universe stretches because I said yes to the next level before I decided that I was perfectly ready. And it's never led me astray. So the investment for this program, and again, keeping in mind that your guarantee is that you will make and manifest more than you paid to get into the container, or you get your money back. You show up to the calls and you will either manifest more than you paid to get in, or you get a full-blown refund. On top of that, 7 days free for the bi-weekly payment plan. So either way, you can't lose. The payment full is for founders pricing is $1,997. You can also do a payment plan of $149.50 bi-weekly. And I think there's actually one early bird founder spot left. This won't be up past late this evening. So if you're on the call, you're getting the yes, I would snag that before that one goes away. But either way, you can look forward to all of these incredible experiences, the travel, the overflow, the consistent feelings of certainty that your time is now, your next level is now, and that you're no longer living outside of your dream life, but you're actually sustained in saying yes to your desires and having unlimited choice to say yes to whatever you choose to, whether it is aligned with my values or it is something very specific to you. We all have those weird dreams, and this is designed to help you equip with a foolproof program and structure to make your transformation inevitable, and also to create a level of certainty that you can actually do it if things haven't worked in the past. This specifically accounts for all the ways you've been taught or designed and destined to fail, to take yourself off. And it allows you to reverse engineer that into intentional biweekly clearings so that by the holidays, you're living your best life ever. You're living the most abundant life ever. And so that within 6 months or less, you're finally in this place of saying yes to your calling, your desires. You have more than enough to go around. You've healed the deepest scarcity blocks and patterns. And when money comes in, or you go to check your phone, or you go to look at your accounts, you're no longer bracing yourself, but you're actually excited and you're looking forward to it, knowing that you're not only on the right track, but you're actually able to get ahead. So our experiment is to see if we can collectively manifest over $1 million of collective wins. We're going to be tracking all the manifestations inside this through the daily money actions and through the biweekly coaching calls. If you have some questions, there is an FAQ page which will go through some of the most commonly asked questions. But if you just want a personalized voice note to like hash it out to see if it's the right fit, you can comment activation, or you can DM me. And I'd be happy to just ask you a couple quick questions to explore if it really is a fit. And if not, then I'll make some recommendations for you to find something better aligned. And if it is, then you'll know fully that it's uniquely designed to meet your needs exactly where you're at. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys later. Till next time.